There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
We're talking about audiophile grade components this month, and there are few, if any, brands that can truly offer the entire scope of a suite of products in audiophile grade category, especially when we're talking from signal output to sound output. Today, we'll be focusing in on a Japanese manufacturer. You know them by Kenwood, but specifically today, we'll be speaking to Kenwood EXCELON Reference, their highest offering within their range. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. Kenwood EXCELON Reference, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and I am still having fun talking about high-end audio, geeking out with you guys. Thanks for tuning in all month long. And we've landed on another interesting one whereby it's a brand that can literally offer your customers and yourself as a store a solution from source unit all the way to full range output. And of course, we're talking about Kenwood EXCELON Reference. Now, many of you know, well, everybody knows Kenwood. You might also have heard of Kenwood EXCELON, but did you know about Kenwood EXCELON Reference? That's what we're going to find out in detail today. And to join me on this ride will be the captain of the ship for today's show. His name, well, Glen Swackhamer, old friend of mine. He's been in the industry a long time. He represents JVC Kenwood Canada, and he is their national sales manager. Hey, Ken. Glen, how are you?
Great to see you.
Good to see you too. It's fun. It's exciting. We're talking about upper echelon type of stuff. You and I have geeked out on this type of stuff for many, many a year. And here we are, finally a chance to kind of bring out that, that high-end tier offering that Kenwood has in their catalog that I want to make sure everybody knows about today.
Absolutely.
So we're talking audiophile grade. I'm going to start with the question that I have with all the brands presenting on CMA Networks during the sessions. What, in your opinion, Glen, makes Kenwood EXCELON Reference audiophile grade?
Well, this is our highest standard of products. This is all about the best sound within a vehicle. And what we're going to take you through today is 14 products from the EXCELON Reference family. And you're going to find that you're going to see high-res audio from the source unit through to the amplifier, right to the speakers itself. So it's the highest resolution, the highest quality, both audio and video, all the way through, exceptional sound within the vehicle.
That's amazing. And there's something to be said about, a suite of products that really has been designed and engineered to work with one another. Now, to be clear, EXCELON Reference is, it's not something that you'll find in every store. Obviously, there's a select grouping of dealers that have access to this type of stuff. We'll get into the details of this a little bit later on. But I thought it'd be a good idea, Glen. I did find a video that kind of sets the stage for what we're going to be discussing today. When we come back, we'll dive right in. Here we go.
Kenwood.
All right, that's a quick glimpse of everything that you mentioned that we'll be covering today. Let's go ahead and bring up your presentation, Glenn, and dive right in. And let's dialogue this. Let's have a little bit of fun with this one today.
Absolutely. Yeah, this has actually been a lot of fun getting ready for this. Again, we're talking about 14 products, top shelf, top level products that we offer in the Excelon Reference series. And it's fun to play with the actual product itself, to unbox it and look at how great the quality is. What you see here is basically our statement. It's kind of our mission statement of the product itself. And you're going to find this on our website in any marketing material. In fact, even when you open up the speaker box, this is actually embossed right on the panel as you open it up to look at what's inside. So Excelon Reference series of products. It's the new standard in audio excellence. I mean, this is all designed to work together and to give you the ultimate sound within the automotive environment. The other thing that we do with the Excelon Reference series is we offer a 2-year warranty. So protection for the consumer up to 2 years.
Is that across, like, source units included?
Yeah, everything in the lineup, from subwoofers, amplifiers, the entire lineup is protected with a 2-year warranty. So what makes this a little different? What sets us apart? Well, we have some of the best connectivity. So we have support for all the latest technologies. We have the best interface. So we have HD screens, really fast processors, and really well-designed GUI. We also have some of the best sound quality components. Again, high-res support from the head unit through to the amplifier, right to the speakers itself. And overall, best results. So because we're building the family of products, these are designed to work together and proven to work together extremely well. So something else that we do a little bit different with the Excelon Reference lineup is we have what's called our MAP policy. So this is a protected line, and for the dealers, it's a better margin, and it's exclusive. So not everyone gets the Excelon Reference lineup. There is select partners that we deal with across Canada. The other thing that we'll note is customers trust a single brand solution. So maybe it starts with the head unit and then they go and build onto it and add amplifiers and speakers and build a full sound system. But if you think about a lot of ecosystems, I'm an Apple user, and once you kind of get into that ecosystem, you tend to purchase everything surrounding that product. So that's a really great advantage that we have something that we can offer the customer a full line solution from the head unit all the way right to the speakers. And then the other thing is, we want to promote a technology that promotes our dealers' services. So this is the reference line. This is the ultimate line that we offer. And obviously with high-res audio, we're looking for the ultimate fidelity within the vehicle. And this isn't something that is easily achievable by the weekend warrior, by the DIY installer. So we really want our dealers to promote their services and to allow the customer to achieve the best quality, the best sound possible. And let's face it, they have all the tools, they have all the training, and they have all the know-how to put a system together and make it the best possible sound within the vehicle using our products.
Glenn, before we go too far, I want to focus on this last point that you made. High-res audio. I've said it before in another session. I feel like that moniker kind of came in maybe a little bit ahead of its time. It was cool, high-res audio, great, but then it was like, where do I get music to play high-res audio tracks? So it was one of those things. But now I feel that the timing is perfect. I think customers are more aware than ever about the quality of the sound, the access to the source material, the music itself, and that's really what it's all about. So if we have a customer that's coming in, you can spot those type of customers pretty quickly within your probing process when you're qualifying a customer. This is a go-to scenario whereby Kenwood has produced an entire suite, like Glenn said, that works together. It's a single brand solution, and can deliver on that high-res audio side of things.
Yeah, and actually we've been doing high-res audio in our head units for, I think it's about 7 years now. So we kind of led the charge from a source unit perspective. We obviously trickled that down into our amplifiers and into our speakers. So we have that high res standard throughout the entire lineup. But you're right. When we first started, we were kind of on an island, so to speak, in terms of being the one to start the initiative. And it's great to see that there's so much availability of the actual music and access to the music in high res format. So we're going to look at the multimedia receiver lineup. There's 5 products in this series. And to start off, we're going to look at the 6.8-inch HD screens. And we're going to start with a DMX 957 XR. So just to highlight some of the things about this 6.8-inch HD screen, we have tuned audiophile grade components within it. HD screen, of course, with an HD screen, we have HD compatible cameras. It also has HD radio. And HD radio is, as best said, of CD quality sound for FM radio. High-res audio playback, LDAC for Android devices. Of course, technology-wise, 4 camera inputs. So if you want to build a robust camera system or retain the OEM camera system, if there's a multi-camera setup, we have the ability to do so. And even though this particular unit is a mechless unit, it does have a motorized tilt panel. So it actually motorizes to adjust and to get a better on-axis view. Now, when we step it up a notch, we go into the DDX 9907XR and all the great things that we just noted, but we're adding a CD or DVD drive. And then the flagship product is the DNX 997XR. And what we add with this product is Garmin navigation. We also have an SD card slot, so you can play either video or audio files through that SD card. And we have a reverse tilt monitor, motorized monitor. So
well, let's take a look at this.
See if we can get the right angle here.
There you go.
So you can see here that the actual panel itself is tilted backwards. So again, if you have maybe put on this angle here, there you go.
Ah, yes.
So you can see that it's actually tilted backwards. So that's in reverse mode. And then obviously you can tilt it flat and it'll give you lots of different angles in the other direction. And the benefit of this, a lot of vehicles will have a really sloped dash towards the windshield. So the radio kind of sits on an angle. So if you have, let me get it the right position here. If you have it on the angle of the dash, it's actually tilting the screen forward. So you have a better or more direct on-axis view.
That's a very unique feature, I must admit. I don't think I've ever seen that feature on a full screen. I mean, I've seen it on floating screens, but not on a full screen type unit.
Yeah, on a traditional 6.8 screen, we're actually the only ones in the industry doing this reverse tilt technology.
All right, very cool. Let's get back to it.
Okay, so now we talked about the 6.8-inch screens. We're going to talk about our floating panels or our 10.1-inch screens. And there's 2 models in the Excelon reference lineup. So it's a 10.1-inch optically bonded HD capacitive touch display. It features a 3-way adjustable panel. So you can tilt it forward, it can go up and down, or back and forth, depending on how you need to set it up within the vehicle. The other thing that I want to point out is the volume knob. So again, we're one of the few that actually includes a rotary volume knob on the front panel of this unit. It's a large volume knob and it has a rubberized tactile feel. So it's really easy to, to find and use while you're driving down the road in your vehicle. Now on the 10.1, we add things like a parametric EQ, DSD playback, and we also do HDMI input. When we step up to the flagship piece, the DNR 1007XR, we add in, of course, that navigation, Garmin navigation, and we also add in the SD card slot.
I must say that knob makes all the difference. I know this sounds really silly when I hear myself say it, but man, that knob makes all the difference. And that's all I have to say about that. You want a high-end system. Nobody wants to do this for volume in a high-end system. I'm just saying. This is my 2 cents.
Very easy to control the volume, and it's actually multifunctional. So if you push on the volume control, it brings up a shortcut menu, and then you can access a lot of your setup, connectivity, EQ, everything is on screen for a quick access menu.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look or dive into this HD display. So we, of course, have had traditional WVGA displays, which is 800 by 480p. And now going to the HD display, it's basically 2.4 times the resolution of a WVGA display at 1280 by 720p. Now, again, like I mentioned, with HD quality screens comes HD quality cameras. So up until recently, we were only dealing with a 480p traditional camera. And now that we've gone to a 720p HD camera, the difference is absolutely unbelievable. The clarity is just crystal clear. It's exactly like turning around and looking backwards within your vehicle itself. And a technology that we do or add to all of our cameras is high dynamic range. And this deals with bright light exposure. So as you can see on the picture on the right-hand side, the vehicle is traveling through a tunnel. And as it comes towards that bright light, it can get washed out. With high dynamic range, it's going to make sure that it's absolutely crystal clear, even in the brightest sunlight conditions. We have the 4-camera input. So lots of different things, lots of different ways to set up your 4-camera input, and it's all selectable. The only function that's not selectable is rear camera will always remain rear camera, but all your other inputs are selectable or assignable. You can do a dashboard camera. You can do blind spot camera. So maybe you have cameras in the left and right side mirror. You can do a front camera. Perhaps you have an exotic vehicle, a show car, something with a really low front spoiler, and you're worried about scraping it as you enter a parking lot or exit a parking lot. And of course, the rear camera functionality. Now, dash cam. This is our integrated dash cam. So I'll just hold up the product here just to show you how low profile it is. So it just measures basically the body is about 3/4 of an inch thick. Now this is great when you're installing it behind the rear view mirror of the vehicle, because you can basically put it behind the rear view mirror. You're not going to see this at all. It's not going to obstruct your vision through the windshield of the vehicle. And then, of course, all the menu is done on the actual screen.
Well, hold up. Are you telling me I can control the dash cam from the source unit?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. So I did this whole thing on dash cams, as you know. This is a huge feature, guys. Like, okay, so let me break this out real quick. We're not talking dash cams in this particular one, but I think it's worthy to go here.
Yeah.
There's two schools of thought with dash cams. You got the dash cam, which is a low profile, slick body, like the one you have there, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the other kind that's a little bit bulkier, looks more like a traditional camera, but it has a screen. And there's two schools of thought. Some people like the screen, some people don't like the screen. Obviously, the low profile, slicker body has a less obtrusive view of the of the road, right? Because it takes up less space in front of you. But you have to use an app to control it. So there's your kind of caveat, right? Okay, you don't get the screen, you get less blockage of view, but you have to use your app to control it. I've always opted for the one with the screen because I want to know when I start the car that my dash cam is working and recording. Because really, what's the point of a dash cam if it ain't working, right? So it gives me this visual cue that, yep, it's recording. This, on the other hand, this takes us to another level, because now I don't have to reach these tiny little buttons to this 2-inch screen. It's on my screen. That is incredibly important. And can you go back a slide for a second? I was going to ask you, then I said, maybe he'll bring it up. That right there in the top left, is that real time? Like you could actually control it in that screen as itself, as a 4-panel?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's it. Just wanted to, point that out. That's a cool feature.
Yeah, so what will actually happen if you get into the vehicle and there's been a parked incident, so someone's banged into your vehicle, as soon as you turn the radio on, you'll actually get a warning banner right on the screen itself saying parking incident, right. And you can review that file. I take my kids to karate all the time, and it seems that my car gets hit almost every time I park. So I can actually review, who was parked beside me, and I get out and I look and see if there's any major dings in the door or what have you. But so that's a really neat feature when you start the vehicle. And then, of course, while you're using the product, using the vehicle, you can get a departure delay warning. So this is for the texters out there that are head down, sending a text or surfing Instagram or whatever. As the vehicle in front of you moves.
Oh, so remind you to press on the gas, would you?
Yeah, wake up,
Gotcha.
pay attention. You're supposed to be driving a vehicle. So departure delay warning, it's going to give you an audible chime and that warning message at the bottom banner of the screen. And then obviously you can, pay attention to the road.
I'm going to assume, so there's a video output from this dash cam that goes into the source unit, and there's also a hardwire kit that comes with this.
Yeah, exactly. The kit plugs right into the back of the unit. There's a composite RCA and then a 4-pin connector right to our radio itself. So yeah, we can do all the setup right from on screen. We can do the playback. You can actually go in and delete your SD card if you want to, reformat your SD card, all from the touchscreen.
And the SD card is built into the dash cam itself.
It's built into the dash cam itself.
Okay,
that's correct.
I know, guys, I know this is an audiophile episode, but let me tell you, everything I've learned, audiophiles don't want to compromise creature comforts or features. I can tell you that, especially in a car. So that's why we're going a little bit further than we have to in this one. But yeah, very, very cool.
For sure. Yeah, this is about not taking anything away from the vehicle, but either retaining it or obviously in this case, adding it.
Very good.
Quality-wise, 3 million pixels, what we call full HD. So very high quality recording. Okay, so we're just going to go into some camera setup. So obviously we have the ability to do parking guidelines. You can turn them on or off, but a really neat feature that we offer is front camera interruption. So imagine you're going to parallel park. You have a front camera and you have a rear camera. You put the vehicle in reverse. You start, going into your parallel parking mode. And obviously you're using the rear camera to see how close you get to the vehicle behind you. The moment you shift out of reverse into drive, the front camera is automatically triggered on, and it's triggered on for these intervals. So 10, 15, or 20 seconds. You can assign whatever time frame you like, and you'll have the front camera. So again, as you approach the vehicle in front of you, you can see how close you get to that vehicle, and you can, pull into a parallel parking spot like a pro. So it's a really, really neat feature that's built into all these head units.
Does this require some type of integration with the vehicle to be able to do this?
No, this is just a setting.
Okay, so interesting.
Yeah, we do actually, the Maestro module also will offer this setting as well. But this, even without the Maestro module, this is something that is in the menu structure of our products. Nice. Okay, so another cool thing that we offer for all 5 of these source units is a smartphone remote app. So take your Android device, take your iPhone or whatever smartphone, and you can actually download the app to your smartphone and control all sorts of different sources, EQ settings, setup. It can all be done from your smartphone and can take full control of our radios. All right, so let's take a look at Maestro. And specifically, we're going to look at some of the exclusive features that we offer.
Can we just preface this real quick, Glenn? I mean, there is a rich history between Kenwood and Maestro that I think deserves a minute here.
Yeah, I mean, our partnership, we were the first to start it, right? So we partnered with Maestro many years ago. It's well over a decade ago. We were the first in the industry, and so because of this partnership, we often tend to get some exclusive features and exclusive technologies that that our competition may not have.
I recently found out that we deal with Matt Yerger, who's the trainer over at Maestro. It's been on CMA many times, and he used to work at Kenwood. Funny enough,
yeah.
Little industry detail for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes our partnership that strong.
I would suppose.
All right, so we kind of know, or I think most people that are listening to this will know what Maestro offers. You can do a gauge package. So maybe you have a diesel truck. You want to know about your transmission temperature because you're towing. You want to know about your boost on your turbo. You want to know about your exhaust gas temperature. So all these gauges can be populated on screen. Of course, we also have the tire pressure monitor, battery voltage monitor, and check engine monitor. So that's a really cool feature. Go in, check engine, look at the code that's populated, and then go ahead and clear that code. If it's something that's not too critical, and if the vehicle has the ability, you can also do climate control. So turn your heated seats on and off, do dual climate control, and this is all from our touchscreen. So that's kind of the standard functionality that Maestro offers. some of the exclusive things that we offer, warning chimes through OEM speaker locations. So we have advanced safety systems, be it collision avoidance or cross traffic alert or lane departure, blind spot detection. These are all things that would come standard in a modern vehicle. If you go to replace the radio, the last thing you want to do is to lose any of this great technology or this great safety feature. And so obviously we can retain it. But what we do differently is we ensure that the chime comes in the proper location. So for example, if you're having a cross traffic alert and it's basically in the rear right of the vehicle, you're going to get a chime in the rear right corner of the vehicle. So it tells you where the incident is coming from. So again, this is about, adding something and not taking anything away from what you had before. Garmin. So again, we have a long-standing partnership with Garmin Navigation, and we can actually populate the turn-by-turn and compass retention in the center cluster of the vehicle if that vehicle has it. And the other thing you'll see too, you can populate all sorts of information like whatever radio station you're on, the metadata of the track that you're playing, through your streaming music service, SiriusXM. Everything can be populated to that center cluster if it's available. Now, this is something we have. This is exclusive dynamic parking guidelines. So this is the bendy lines. So as you go in to do that parallel parking or to that parking maneuver, you'll see the bendy lines are populated based on the way that you turn the steering wheel. And as you'll see right here, right now, there's the front camera interruption. So showing you that it's automatically switched over to that front camera view.
I want to comment here, Glenn. So I'm lucky enough one of my vehicles is equipped with a Kenwood source unit and also with Maestro integration. And I got to say, my wife even thought that those bendy lines were OE. She didn't realize, they're that good. It is seamless. Like you really feel like this came with the car.
I agree. Yeah, it's awesome technology. All right. So other things that we do with the Maestro partnership is parking assist. So again, if you have parking assist alerts in either the front or rear of the vehicle, they can be retained. You'll get the audible tones. You can get visual indication. But we also do an overlay, as you can see on the right side of the screen, with the rear camera or front camera. So not only do you have audible parking assist warning, but you have the visual as well, all on one screen.
Again, a very OE type experience for sure.
Absolutely. Radar detector integration. Not for every province across Canada, but certainly some of the Western provinces do a lot of radar, and we can integrate K40 and Escort to our screen. So again, just like our dash cam, everything can be set up, controlled, and all the alerts can be populated right from our touchscreens. That's a really neat additional feature.
Super stealth way of getting access to those units for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So we're going to go into the connectivity side. So how do we stream music? How do we connect our smartphone? What's our source platform for this entire family of products? And one of the things that we obviously have is either wireless or wired Apple CarPlay. We have wireless or wired Android Auto. We have wireless Android mirroring. So take your Android device and you can mirror cast it right to our screens and play back any content that you choose. HD radio. So again, this is for select markets. It's major city centers, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and it's growing in popularity. But this is HD quality sound over the radio stations. It's actually makes a really big difference. When you change that station and it locks into the HD channel, you can audibly hear it go from traditional FM to the HD signal. SiriusXM ready. So of course, everyone wants to have endless content. And obviously that's what SiriusXM provides with the SXV300 V1C add-on.
I'm sorry. Right. Would you mind going back one slide, Glenn?
Absolutely.
I've got to say, this is one of the nicer interfaces for SiriusXM control that I've seen so far, with all the channels on the left, the way they are there. Now, This, I would presume, is the layout for the 10-inch screen.
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
a pretty sweet layout because I see the album art on the top right as well, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking layout for sure. All right. So high-res audio. Obviously through the USB, we can do wave, we can do FLAC, 24-bit, 192 kilohertz, and reserved for the 10.1 inch, we can also do DSD. All right, so high-res audio playback on all the models, DSD for 10.1 inch products. LDAC, so this is wireless high-res audio. This is only for Android devices, but essentially you can wirelessly stream 96 kilohertz, 24-bit sound right to the radio itself. So high-res audio over Bluetooth. It's a really neat technology, and it sounds actually incredible.
So I'm a Mac guy like you are, but this kills me right here.
Yeah.
We pay for some certain services that provide, 9624, but wireless like this, that would be awesome. So yes, hooray for those of you who have Android.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks for those of us that don't. But anyhow, this is a great feature either way.
Maybe one day we'll be lucky enough to.
The problem is it's not a Kenwood problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kenwood's ready to receive the signal, but there has to be the mechanism to send it. Right.
It's
a
platform problem. Yeah.
It's a platform situation, which who knows? We'll see where it goes. There's some chatter about the future of that. So
yeah. Okay. So let's get into how we achieve the highest quality of sound with the Excelon reference family, and that is audiophile grade components within our head units. We do things, seemingly simple things, like this cross-shaped panel structure. So this is just the top plate of a radio. This is on all the Excelon reference products, and you can just see it's just an X, punched into or stamped into the actual top plate of the panel that goes on the radio itself. And it's just simply to break up resonance. So instead of it just being your traditional flat panel that would be found on all of our other products, they stamp this X into it. It's kind of neat that it flows with the Excelon reference story with the X here. But really it's to stop resonation of the chassis throughout the chassis itself. And then the other thing that we do is triple 5-volt pre-outs. And this has been something that we've done with Excelon for many, many years. So every Excelon or Excelon reference product will have that 5-volt pre-out, triple pre-out capability.
And that's really important, by the way. I mean, you're getting maximum output from that source unit from the get-go, right?
Yes, absolutely. And in an automotive environment too, right? That's what really becomes critical. All 5 source units will have a 3-way crossover. So you can do low pass, band pass, high pass. And then we get into some of the other setup screens here. So this is showing the just the traditional 2-way. And of course, you can select front, rear, or subwoofer setup individually. Do your gain, your slope, and obviously your frequency. But for, if a consumer was purchasing this product and not going to one of our dealers for the professional setup, they could actually go in and pick the car type. They could pick the speaker size and the speaker location, and it's going to give them a decent target parameter to fit their vehicle. Is it perfect? No, that's that's reserved for our dealers to make sure that they can do the ultimate setup and tuning of the vehicle. But it's going to be better than just leaving it all off or flat. 13-band EQ. Now this is again standard across the line. You can do 13 bands per source, or you can do all source. So you can see at the very top right there, it says all source. So you can set up an EQ curve, and every source that it plays, be it HD radio, SiriusXM, high-res audio, would follow that EQ structure. Or you can actually set up an EQ per source. Digital time alignment. So again, if that customer wants to make some quick adjustments, doesn't really understand how to do the proper setup or adjustments, you can do listening positions. You can do front focused, front left, front right, front all. But obviously we'd recommend our professional dealers to go ahead and adjust it to the parameters and location of the listener. So this is the balance fader screen, but really what we're focusing on here is we actually have dual zone. It does take away a lot of the EQ and time correction setup, but in the event that someone wants to do a dual zone, like a party bus or limo or what have you, we do have that flexibility to do a dual zone with these radios. And then the last page is the sound effect page. So lots of different things, again, to improve the overall sound. Personally, I don't really turn much of this on in my vehicle, but one of the things that I do enjoy is the drive equalizer. And again, so as the road noise increases, so
right.
volume, right? So it's just, instead of playing with your volume up and down, it's automatically making those adjustments.
This is a tremendous amount of adjustment for a source unit. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I mean? This is tremendous.
There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on here.
Okay, so now we're going to focus in on the 10.1 inch screens themselves and what we do differently with them compared to the 6.8 inch series. So up until now, we've basically talked about all the common features that all 5 head units have. And now we're going to get into what does the 10.1 inch do differently. So again, we've talked about the HD screen, but the size, over a traditional 7 inch or our 6.8 inch screens, it's 2 times the size of a traditional 6.8 inch or 7 inch screen. The quality is just exceptional in terms of the clarity with that HD panel. And one of the things that we've done differently with the 10.1 inch model is we've done optical bonding. So this is actually an optical glue where the front panel is glued to the LCD panel. There's no gap between the panel like a traditional model. And that basically what that does is it's less glare, less reflection. So HD screens themselves are unbelievable in bright light. Think about a convertible. Before you basically, depending on the position or the vehicle, a lot of WVGA screens would get completely washed out. You couldn't even see, what you're trying to control or what source you're on the touch panel. With these HD screens, that certainly goes away. And with the optically bonding technology of the 10.1, it's just crystal clear. It's an exceptional panel. To the point here where the viewing angle, it's basically 85 degrees from any angle. You can go almost completely off axis looking at the screen and still, vividly see it. Position or setup. So this panel, you can actually adjust, infinitely adjust, like think about a laptop. So you can open and close the lid and it's going to stay on that angle. It's very rigid. You almost need to grab it with 2 hands to position it. So whatever angle you put it on, it's going to stay in that position. But we also have 4 height adjustments. So you can go up and down into 4 different positions. And then that's going to be fixed. So that's not something that's variable. You basically...
those are clicks. Those are solid clicks as you go down.
Yeah, there's 4 screws. So 2 screws per side. And you're gonna basically figure out what level or what position you want it in. And the reason for that is, obviously maybe you want to raise it up so you can access your heater controls better. Or maybe you need to lower it down because there's something, in the top of the dash in terms of controls or information.
It's also a good shot of that knob that you described earlier with the rubber kind of ring on it.
Yeah, actually, that really is. Really shows off the class. Okay, and another thing that the 10.1 does a little bit differently is steering wheel remote control source on or off. So traditional radios, you hit the source button and you go through SiriusXM, radio, USB, whatever the sources may be. And if, in our case, we have a lot. We have probably 12 input options. So you're going to be pushing that button 12 times to circle back to, the FM or AM station that you're looking for. With this, you can turn it off. So you can only leave on the sources that you want. And, maybe it's only 4 sources that you're rotating through. And that's going to be all that the steering wheel button controls. Again, back to Maestro and something that we do with the 10.1 exclusively. This is accessory control. So you can use a Maestro.
Wait, hold up. This is switching?
Yeah. This is on.
Oh, didn't even know this existed. Okay.
Yeah. So these icons are selectable. Obviously, we're
Right.
showing a light, a winch, and a tailgate, but you can select different icons depending on the function that you want to do. And you actually are triggering the output of the RR2, so you can go off to a relay or whatever device you need.
Okay, the output is through the Maestro
Yeah.
being controlled through the panel of the unit.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Our panel is the switch.
Mhm.
Maestro is the hub to control
Gotcha.
the accessory or
Yeah,
device.
that's slick. Especially if you
Yeah.
have like an off-road vehicle, like you mentioned, like you see here, the light, the winch, even a tailgate. Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, really neat. Parametric EQ. Okay,
Mm.
so again, this is our top level trim. This is our top product. So we're adding in a parametric 9-band parametric EQ, and that can be adjusted independently between front, rear, and subwoofer outputs. EQ and subwoofer control. So this is just showing an on-screen overview menu of the 10.1, and you'll see on the right-hand side that rectangle banner that actually can be positioned either on the right side of the screen, or you can move it to the left side of the screen, and you can select what that panel is. But in this case, this is something I like in my vehicle, and you basically have the subwoofer control right on screen, so you can adjust your sub-level output. And then you can see here, it's showing above that the EQ curve. So if you want to make finite adjustments, you just tap that EQ panel, and it's going to go to the full screen where you can actually make the adjustments quickly.
This is well thought out, because you can consequently adjust the subwoofer at the same time as you can see how they react with one another live in the same panel, which is very smart.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to look at amplifier and speakers, and we're going to start off by looking at the development. So we, before COVID, we used to go to Japan every year and hold global technical seminars. So that's where basically, every affiliate company from around the world would meet in Japan. It's typically actually this time of year, this week, believe it or not, and we get to learn about the latest product. But I think more importantly, we get to give feedback directly to the engineers. So we're sitting with the engineers throughout the day. We're going out with them at night, and we can really come together and tell them, what our customers are looking for, or some of the finite things that we want to change or add to our products to improve them. So this is a really great networking event where all the affiliate companies can come together and discuss what the shape of the products are, and then relay that right back to the engineers that are on hand. So
I recognize you and Seth in that picture.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're hard at work.
Yep.
Our amplifier and speaker team. This is 44 dedicated speaker and amplifier engineers. We're not just a receiver company. Okay, everyone thinks when they think KENWOOD Excelon Reference, they know about the head units. They've probably installed it. They might have it in their vehicle. They may have sold it. We have a really wicked lineup of amplifiers, speakers, and subwoofers. And again, that's all thanks to this dedicated team of engineers. Here's a look at our factory. So this is the speaker and amplifier development facility. Sorry, it's not a factory, it's the development facility. But this is in Hachiochi, Japan. And listen, we don't mess around here, okay? So if we have an underperforming engineer, there's a goal for them. All right, there's an exit plan.
Oh man, do not mess up if you work in this building.
Right. We're serious about this. This is actually this is something that Seth actually provided.
That's funny.
We joke around about it. As you come to work every morning, when you're in Japan, when you go to the office, you have to check in at the gate. And when you check into the gate, you look up, and there's this random door in the side of the building that has no balcony, that's not locked. You can actually go in the office, go to the second floor, and you can open this door to the outside. So we joke around that, hey, anyone that's underperforming, let's go down the hallway.
That's your exit. Wow. Have you ever found out what it's actually for?
No, actually,
okay.
No. Obviously, they had plans for it at some point, but we're not sure why it's there. Okay, so looking at the amplifier lineup, we have 4 amplifiers in the line. a 5-channel 900-watt amplifier, a 4-channel 400-watt amplifier, 2 mono blocks, one in a 1,000-watt trim and one in 600-watt trim. Size-wise, they all share the same overall.
Oh, you have one with you. Let's take a look.
Yeah, so this is the same chassis height. So this is 6 5/8 inches tall. And obviously, depending on the size of the amp, it does vary. So this particular one, this is the XR601-1. So 6 5/8 tall, by just under 9 inches wide, but extremely thin. So we're dealing with a 1 3/8 thickness on this amplifier, and this is the same chassis as the XR401-4. So as you can see here, in terms of the connectivity, so everything's going to be on one side,
Yeah, I was
right?
just gonna say that.
You have your RCA. This is your sub-level controller for the XR601-1, and your output to your sub, and power termination is here. So everything in terms of wire management is on one side, and then control is going to be found.
Okay, so no hidden panels to unscrew or anything of that nature. Everything is accessible.
So the only thing that's hidden is this. So each amplifier will have this little panel here.
Right, that's to tighten down the wires.
You got it. So once you make that connection, terminate those wires, you're going to put this beauty cover back on.
So you know what? They kept in mind a small footprint, even at the highest end, to make sure it wasn't too bulky.
Yeah, absolutely. So even if we compare it here, this is the 9015 around here. And again,
yeah. So same height. So you could they'd be nice next to each other.
Yeah. Okay.
So 4 models: a 5-channel, a 4-channel, and 2 monos.
That's right. Exactly. So in every box, we include the volume controller, the subwoofer volume controller, or at least that's what it's for in the case of the 9015 and the monoblock amplifiers. We include it with the 4-channel as well. And what this does for the 4-channel is control the rear output, or channels B. And so you could, if you're hooking up a sub, obviously you would have a variable sub-level controller right from the dashboard. Or the other option you could do if you're using full range is you could actually control the level of, say, the rear speakers, right? So you can make infinite adjustments from the actual controller itself. Now, we're talking about the family of products. We're talking about, putting this all together as a package or a system. But let's say you're retaining the factory radio, you want to add on a sub amplifier or, amplifiers throughout the vehicle. We do have speaker level inputs.
Okay.
And there's not a separate plug for that. You can actually go right into the RCA inputs, and it will provide signal sensing turn on as well. So, no need to run a trigger wire to the front to the ignition or anything like that. And of course, these are high-res audio amplifiers, and the standard, you must maintain a level of -3 dB or above or higher at 40 kilohertz, and our amplifiers meet and exceed this requirement. All right, so let's look at some of the internals and some of the parts here. So we have low RDS power MOSFET, and this is to reduce the reduce heat. So for cooler running amplifiers, better reliability. We have a high density around the transformer. And again, this is to reduce temperature. So there's more mass around the transformer itself on these amplifiers. We've increased the power supply capacitors for better bass response. So larger capacitors throughout the entire lineup. So larger than our traditional Kenwood amplifiers would offer. We have custom designed low DCR inductors, and this is for lower resistance and less heat. We've got an amplifier open here, so let's just
let's do that. Let's geek out on that a bit.
Get it lined up here. So there you go. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So that's the low DCR inductors throughout. So basically, it's a magnetic shield around the actual inductor itself. And this is the so this particular amplifier. This is the XR901-5. And again, you can see the large capacitors and the mass. Get on the right side here. The mass around the transformer itself to reduce heat.
Now I'm going to ask you a personal question here. Glenn,
Yeah.
you've been with the company for a while, but I happen to know you've also been with other companies in the past. So not to pick out any brand versus brand, but from your experience, this latest rendition of these Excelon amplifiers, how would you describe their sound and how do you feel about their performance?
Shockingly awesome. It's unbelievable sound, unbelievable performance. Really our amplifiers overall, we don't have a lot of switches. It's pretty direct, input, gain.
Honestly, there's not a lot of bells and whistles. This is a pretty clean cut, slick, compact design that's jamming a lot of technology and high component pieces in a small chassis.
It really is. It's sort of keep it simple, but in terms of the performance, the sound quality, it's exceptional.
Okay.
And so this is other things that we focus on in terms of the design. So again, how are we achieving such a high quality standard in these amplifiers? It's really about the layout. So what happens with the design of the circuit board, you have the analog circuit on one side, then it goes into the digital amplification circuit, and of course off to the power supply circuit. But the key thing is that nothing crosses over. So you don't have the circuits, over top of each other or flowing back through each other. It's basically laid out so that it flows, from the analog circuit to the digital amplification circuit, and then out to the power supply circuit. So better flow, less noise overall, minimizes the influence of noise.
I want to commend you today for taking the veil off and kind of explaining the design, and it's very important because people want to know, and it's not because they understand what they're looking at, but the fact that you could back up the design and the componentry already speaks volumes.
Yeah, it really, like I said, it's a really great product, really fun to play with.
Oh,
all right.
Yes. Here we go.
So
Speakers.
we're getting into speakers. We have 3 different speakers in the Excelon reference lineup. So again, all high-res certified. We have the XR1701, which is a 6.5-inch coaxial. Let's do a little show and tell with it right now.
All right. That is a pretty sweet-looking cast basket there.
Yeah, it's not even cast. It's actually composite.
Oh, it's composite, is it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you can see we've done these X ribs for rigidity, and adds a little bit of style to it as well. The other thing I got to note, because it is a cast composite basket. Let me just get this lined up here. So this is what we call the landing bridge right here. Okay. So we've actually been able to integrate.
It's not just like a floating piece of a board.
It's so
anchored.
This is your traditional connectors with the fiber board, right? And typically the rivet is just sort of riveted to a piece of steel, steel stamp basket. Well, because we have this integrated bridge, a lot of times what will happen is the installer will go to put the wire on and they'll snap that board in half.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that with this.
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged.
I think we've all done it at some point, right? So, just again, the additional things that we do to refine this level of product.
And again, while you have that, I just want to show the front real quick. The front side. Okay, there we go. I imagine you're going to start talking about materials here because I'd like to know what that's made of.
We will.
Okay, sure. Let's go. Just want to see it.
Okay. So then, go the right way here. Okay, so we also have the same size in a component set, so 6.5 tweet and external crossover. 100 watts RMS for both. Frequency range from 43 hertz all the way up to 40 kilohertz to meet that high-res audio standard. And we also, in the box on both of these, we include a bracket, and it's a multi-fit bracket.
Ah, nice.
And so, you'll have basically a 1/2-inch riser from it. It's going to fit a lot of different vehicles, be it GM, Toyota, Mazda, Ford, etc. And obviously, you have perforated so we can get a right angle here. There's little perforations.
Oh, for break-off tabs.
Yeah, and actually, thankfully, in the box they include the all the different scenarios for the vehicles itself. So it's going to tell you what tabs to break off to fit your vehicle. Okay. And then the flagship of the speaker lineup is the XR1801P. This does something just a little bit different. We go to a 7-inch driver. Okay, so just an oversized driver, a little bit more power. We go to 120 watts RMS, and a little wider frequency range. We'll go down to 35 hertz all the way up to 40 kilohertz.
Obviously, more of a custom install for that one in most cases.
Yeah, it would be. And so what we'll do is get to the next slide and show you how we obtain this custom install.
Oh, is that a 6x9 adapter plate for a 7?
Yes, sir. So here it is here. So now have all sorts of things going on here.
Yeah.
From an application point of view. And again, this is where you really need to pull the manual out, to understand what tabs to break off to make the proper fitment to the vehicle. But yeah, lots of different options. Even the let's see if we can get that. The tabs here, to lock it into various vehicles, like a Toyota as an example. And then the other thing that we offer, this is a 6x8 adapter ring as well.
Is that in the box for that 7-inch unit?
That's in the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, if you're dealing with a customer that has a vehicle that has a 6x8 or 6x9, is a perfect opportunity to do an oversized 7 and tweak combo.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So this is just showing everything in the box, all the mounting hardware, everything that comes.
God, the engineering involved in this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool with those adapter brackets. It's just that little additional touch that makes life easier.
And I'm looking at the picture here, Glenn. So you have the tweeters, and then it comes with these kind of angled pods as well.
Yeah, so we'll get into that next, actually. So yeah, it has the angled pod. So you can clip the tweeter into the tweeter pod mount, or you can flush it. Now this tweeter, here it is here. It's quite a thin profile in terms of
not very deep.
No, and even the profile of the face, like once you actually flush it into the door or to the panel, it's not protruding out very far for the dome shape. And that's basically there's a compound curvature to it. So actually, I'll just show you on the next slide here. So we have a compound curvature to a titanium hard dome. So it's almost like a flat shelf in the center of the tweeter before it curves to the actual.
There's no
surround.
peak to it, really. It's kind of like it levels out.
Exactly. Yeah. So this helps us with the titanium hard dome. It helps us achieve the higher frequency response.
Okay, so it is a titanium dome tweeter.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So you want to know about what makes up the components of it, the materials of it. So there's a glass fiber cone, and it provides not only cosmetic. So I mean, when you look at it, obviously in the picture or even just holding it up, it's a nice looking driver.
It's a look. Right? It's definitely a nice looking driver. There's no doubt about it. Nobody's gonna take a look at that driver and say, "Oh, that's entry level." But I mean, that's got all the premium characteristics of a high end driver.
Exactly. So obviously there's a lot of strength behind that and lightweight materials. Now this is something here on the cap, so the center cap of the component speakers, and actually there's a circle rib. It's actually really it's hard to identify, but we
can kind of see it. It's black on black, obviously, so it's a little bit difficult to discern. Yeah, I see what you mean. There's like a rib around that dust cap that before it meets the cone.
Yeah, it almost like it almost looks like a fold in the cap itself.
Okay,
but it is a rib. And basically it's for enhanced stability, and it actually improves vocal tones. So there's actually technology behind it. It's not just for gluing purposes, so to speak. The surround. So the surround roll, it's thicker on the outside where it mounts to the actual basket itself. So that prevents bottoming. And then it's thinner on the inside, which allows the driver to produce more bass. And of course, the tweeter. The tweeter is a 1 3/16 inch large tweeter. It plays lower and allows the woofer bass response to be improved as well.
If you'll allow me to make some comments here, Glenn.
Yeah.
So first of all, glass fiber cone. Obviously, this is a high-end material. It's lightweight. It's found in a lot of the higher-end drivers of other brands out there. Another signature characteristic, you spoke to pretty quickly with the fact that the surround is thicker on one end and thinner on the other. So that is a tapered surround. That is only found in higher-end speakers as well. Again, some of our favorite high-end European speakers, that is a key feature of the thing. So I'm surprised to see that technology put here from a Japanese speaker brand. Interesting. Just want to note that.
Yeah, and I think, when we go through this whole line, it's about value. We truly offer some incredible value for all of these products. Okay, let's look at the crossover. So we have a high-quality passive crossover.
Do we still use these, though? Because,
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking at the quality of that unit, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I want to drive those things active. But no, notwithstanding, there are situations where you might want to run the passive crossover. And this looks like a very nice passive crossover, mind you. I will say that. But, I mean, if I was going to put this system in my car, I'd definitely buy amp them active, for sure.
Well, and here you go. So that is something that we actually have as a feature. So it is bi-ampable as well.
Oh, there you go.
Can do a bi-amp, and we're going to skip ahead here just quickly. I'll show you. So there's the bi-ampable bridge. So in the box, this little bridge will come bolted to the actual crossover. Get the right angle here. So there it is. Here. Okay, it comes mounted to the crossover itself. When you remove that, now you can do tweeter input or woofer input directly to do a bi-ampable solution.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. And of course, output-wise, it does have a hardwired solution for tweeter attenuation, either having it at 0 dB or do a minus 3 dB down. Let's just go back. Wrong way. So just giving some overview of the crossover itself, we do have tweeter protection built into the crossover. So, you're asking why would you need a crossover? I mean, maybe some people that really like to twist the throttle or the volume control to the right. This would probably be a safer mechanism. Might save the tweeter.
Save the tweeter. Yep, understood.
Depending on how loud they're cranking it or the content that they're streaming through it. We use Benick film capacitors, so again, tighter tolerance, more accurate crossover. And I think we just touched on everything else with the bi-ampable, capable, and tweeter output adjustability. So the other thing that we offer, this is throughout the entire lineup, but more specifically to speakers, the Kenwood versions, we don't do anything with serial number. And what we're doing with the Excelon, everything has a serial number. So it's adding value and protection. We're able to understand where that product was sold originally, and I'll see it all the way through to the consumer side and be able to trace it right back. And this is labeled on the speaker, the carton, and even the outer carton. So just a little bit more added protection. All right, so now we're going to get into subwoofers, and we have 2 subwoofers in our lineup. We have the XR-W12F, which is a flat designed subwoofer at 3.5 inches deep with 450 watts of power. And then we have the 10-inch, which I'll show you. 350 watts for the 10 at 3 inches deep. And this is what it looks like.
That's really not very deep.
We're going to be able to fit it in all sorts of tight spaces within the vehicle.
Is that the same fiber cone material then?
It's actually a honeycomb on this.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a paper diaphragm, and then it has a honeycomb layer on top of it, just to give it a little bit more stability. Okay. So some of the features, that is a cast aluminum and what we call an arrow shaped basket. So actually, if you look at the inside of it, if the cone was out of it, even if you just put your finger in the webbing of the frame itself, it's all very smooth, right? There's no hard edges. So essentially it allows airflow, better airflow while the speaker is moving. Now this is not a traditional size. So we say it's a 10 and a 12, but the actual cone area for a 10-inch, so it has the same traditional cutout, so you can put it into any 10-inch box, but the cone area is actually the size of an 11-inch subwoofer.
I see.
And for a 12-inch, it would have the same traditional cutout for your 12-inch box or 12-inch woofer, but you'll get the cone area of a 13-inch. So we're using an oversized diaphragm, and we're achieving that. You can see, again, the wings, right? So it's got the mounting tabs, the four corners for the mounting tabs. And then, of course, input. So it can accept up to a 10 gauge input. And that's through push wire terminals. So push the terminal, slip in the 10 gauge wire and release it, and it's going to lock in and make an exceptional connection.
Two questions for you, Glenn. First question, can I see the back of that subwoofer one more time, please?
Yeah.
Interesting. So that is a venting hole down the middle, right? That has to be clear and free.
Yeah. So it is vented here, and it's a dual ventilation system. So we have ventilation through the pull piece here, and then you can see here, if I can get the right angle, ventilation at the side itself. So it's passing airflow over. I'm
going to put you on the spot, and if we don't have the answer, we'll look for it. But what type of enclosure volume are we looking for here for the 10 or the 12?
You're basically 0.8 on a 10 and one cubic foot for a 12. So very small, very minimal enclosure size.
I'm going to expect, just based on the type of design that it is and seeing that the rest of the components, I mean, this is going to be for fidelity. This is not your SPL sub, right? This is going to be very musical, lots of power handling, tight bass, and very musical. That's what I see here.
Yeah, it's not going to rattle your rear view mirror, or shatter your front windshield, but you're going to get some great, tight, accurate bass, as you said.
It's like, I love the fact that there's no branding on it. Not because I don't like the branding, it just makes it classy. It's really slick, the design.
Yeah, I mean, the only label really is just on that, the back magnet
that you'll never see.
That you'll never see.
Yeah.
So.
That's the thing with speakers, though, isn't it? All the beauty is behind. I mean, you see a little bit in the front, but really you see it once when you open it, and once it's in, you don't see it again.
No, you just enjoy the sound. So we're going to look at the complete solution. I mean, we've taken you through the whole tour, the source unit, to the amplifier, to the speakers, to the subwoofer, and we're just going to put a package together here. So obviously, it starts with the head unit. We can add on a reverse camera, add on that integrated dash camera, an amplifier, for sub bass, do the component speakers in the front, coaxials in the rear with a 4-channel to run it, and then finish it off with a subwoofer. So what we're looking at here, this is actually basically a $4,000 retail complete solution. And if we look at the range, we're essentially starting at $3,000 for a full setup, a full sound system, all the way up to $6,000, and of course beyond, depending on how much you really want to add for amplification and speakers. But that's kind of our price bracket. I
mean, you could easily have done this on a 5-channel as well. You
could have, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what we're showing right now is this is a $4,000 solution. High-res audio throughout, HD quality,
power per driver,
proper power per driver. Components that are meant to work together. So again, we feel that it's exceptional value, for the money.
And it looks good. Like, there's something to be said about the aesthetics. It is really clean, slick, high-end looking.
Yeah, I mean, it's, even if you just look behind me, like, everything is black and gold, right? It's kind of like a gold standard.
I mean, if I was a dealer and I was a Kenwood dealer, I would certainly make some space to show this. They let people touch it, hear it, and explain how it all comes together so they can aspire to it. Is every customer going to go for that? No, but it's all about the top-down selling. Show them what they can achieve if they want to go this route, and then take it from there. But I think there's a lot of customers that would be very appreciative first of having somebody show me the potential of where it could go, right? The fact that the integration between the cameras and everything else, this could be very appealing. But again, I'll repeat, like I always repeat, as a consumer, never assume that they know. Never.
Sure.
Show them, right?
Absolutely.
Let them hear it, let them play with it, let them touch it, show them. That's our job.
Seeing is believing, for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna end this here, and this is what we call the Excelon Reference Challenge. All right, and what I want to do is I want to challenge dealers that think we're a head unit only company, that have not had the ability to try some of the other products that we offer, amplifiers, speakers, and subwoofers. And I want you to reach out to your rep. Your rep's going to have some information on some really exciting opportunities for you and for your store. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to expand on any further than saying we have an Excelon Reference Challenge. Contact your rep for more details.
Mention the challenge. Tell them you watched it on CMA and Glenn said so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tell them you heard about the Excelon Reference Challenge, and let them tell you what great opportunity we have here.
Fair enough.
And that is it for me for today.
Well, let's shutter. Amazing. That was long overdue, and I'm very happy we went through that entire line. Glenn, I really just want to close this on one item that we can dialogue on real quick, and that is, I want to circle back to one of the first points that you made, and that is that one brand solution. Mm-hmm. That one brand solution thing is very powerful, and it's powerful throughout many industries, not just ours, right? Mm-hmm. People, when they attach themselves to brand, there's reasons for it. Maybe it's the aesthetic appeal. Maybe it's the functionality. Maybe it's the sound, of course. Maybe it's just reliability and confidence in product. If somebody has had a positive experience with brand X, and brand X has delivered every single time, well, there's value there, and there's a path to fulfilling that consumer's desire to want to stay with that brand. I think Excelon with Kenwood, and especially Excelon Reference, delivers on that with the established performance that you have in source units, but now giving dealers and consumers that opportunity to continue down that one brand path in a way that I feel that they will be very, not only surprised, but very satisfied with what they'll find there. I'd like for you to comment on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think when it comes to our source units, in a lot of ways we over deliver. And let's face it, a lot of people are looking for smartphone connectivity. That's maybe where it starts, right? I need to be able to connect my smartphone in a safe way, in an efficient manner, to have all the latest technologies. And so, I think if we can start there and give them that experience, that exceptional experience, it's something where it's kind of a no-brainer for them to look down the line at all the additional things that they may be able to add on, even just adding, an amplifier, adding a subwoofer, or like we've gone through today, adding a full range, full solution system.
And lastly, I'm going to circle back to the very first question I asked you on this session is what makes, Kenwood Excelon Reference Audiophile great? I think you've answered that in spades. I think it's down to the high-res audio concept, from the source unit all the way to the output. Everything in that is an amazing talking point when dealing with a customer about that. So the high-res audio, I think the timing for high-res audio is now. I think finally the sources and the options have kind of caught up to the technology. So I think this is a great time to start really drilling in those conversations with customers. But everything you've presented here today, from the board layout and the amplifiers and the components, to the materials, the design of the speakers, and of course the overkill on the amount of features on the source units. Because really, man, it's a lot. It's unbelievable how much you've packed into a source unit. But anyhow, all that for me is audiophile grade. It's the top of the line. I mean, everything is there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure, to be able to work for this company and have such a great family of offerings.
Okay. For more information on Kenwood Excelon Reference products, you're going to head over. It's a big site, so go in there, dig it up. Kenwood.com for our Canadian viewers, .ca for American viewers, stay on .com. But you will find all the Excelon and then Excelon Reference range of products right there. And of course, if you want to be a dealer, happen to not be a Kenwood dealer already, which there aren't many, you know who to get a hold of. Get a hold of the team at JVC Kenwood Canada for Glen, and likewise for those dealers in the US. Final note, Glen. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just everything works very well together. And I want to remind our dealers, make sure you call your representative. And what was it called? The Excelon
Reference Challenge.
Excelon Reference Challenge. Tell them Ben and Glen sent you. That's it.
That's right. Thanks
so much, Glen, for coming in, talking about Kenwood Excelon Reference. And we certainly look forward to having you again on CMA.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
All right. We're still on Audiophiles here, guys, right through till November 10th, each and every day. Another feature brand right here on CMA Networks. All the biggest brands in the audiophile range presenting at 12 p.m. Eastern every day through November 10th. Now, a couple of days left to sign up if you haven't already. An amazing opportunity for you to get over to Master Tech Expo in Mesa, Arizona. We're sending 2 winners, one from the US and one from Canada. All you got to do is head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway and sign up today. While you're there, make sure you check out all our other great videos, regardless of the category or the brand. Or, hey, hit up my man, Glen Swackhamer. He's got his own profile on cmanetworks.com. It's where the 12-volt industry connects. Thanks for tuning in to this session of CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm going to topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?